Now, we do have a cybersecurity expert on what this means for you as you're waking up. What could have happened, and what do we do if it happens again?
Yeah, joining us is the CEO of Capstone IT, Michael Borlaug. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. You know, as a lot of us woke up this morning, you hear about an outage, a network, or something like this, a cyber outage. We think of maybe our phones, cell phones, internet, but this was mainly with Microsoft. And explain to us what we're really dealing with here. Why was it so widespread, but also local too? What are we dealing with? What happened?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. So CrowdStrike is the company that offers their security. So they're a security company that many organizations, especially enterprises, use. And so they came out with a bad update, which forced a lot of the computers to not boot up this morning, which obviously impacted. I know Delta has had some major issues, banking. So a lot of the sectors that we use, just normal people on a day-to-day basis, have been widely affected. So the fix is out there, but the recovery process could take a bit.
And so talk a little bit about, I think everyone kind of woke up hearing the news. You felt kind of vulnerable. You felt a little helpless. Can you elaborate a little bit on what we can do as regular Americans getting up, going to work each day who, you know, that side of the technology is kind of out of our hands?
Well, it is kind of a bit out of the everyday person's hands. But also there's just not much you can do about that as an everyday person. So there's, your own personal security, you're doing it your own, but this is not a personal security company. This is, IT side on major companies. So it's working with your internal IT people. So if your business is down, hopefully they have a good business continuity plan in place, and they're helping with what mitigation effects they can put into place. Other than that, it's kind of waiting patiently, let the IT people do what they're supposed to do best.
So as an expert, I just have to ask this because the company immediately said when they released a statement, this is not any kind of an attack. No one should be concerned on that. And do you buy that explanation? And could they really know that fast?
Generally, yes. I definitely buy that because of the nature of what has happened, it does make perfect sense. CrowdStrike is actually a reputable company, so it is very believable that this was just an update by the nature of how it has unfolded thus far.
Okay, and lastly, when we talk about something happening right now, you talked about the IT experts behind the scenes possibly working. Microsoft has said that the issue has been fixed, but clearly when we look at the airport lines, for example, or we're hearing about transportation information still being delayed, what is your expert opinion on how long this can take before we can be even close to normal?
Yeah, so we've been up a lot this morning, and so a lot of our client base hasn't been affected at all. But in dealing with these types of situations, so the fix is sometimes the easier part. So between CrowdStrike and Microsoft, they identify what the issue is and they have fixed it. But a lot of the computers they're not booting up. They're in that blue screen of death. So I've seen instances where you just have to reboot those a few times to where you have to go in manually, and actually requires an IT person to have manual intervention. So if you have 20 computers, that's going to be much faster. For someone like Delta or some of these major corporations, now you have thousands of servers and PCs. And if it requires manual intervention, there's only so many people that can jump on this particular issue. So it could take hours. We could see this happen for the next day or so to recover fully from this. So it could very well stretch into this weekend very easily.
And we've been like you up since the early morning hours before people were out using their debit cards or trying to get gas or trying to buy their coffee and getting up and checking their own computers. Obviously, more and more people are going to be out in the world and testing and looking at things. Do you think we're going to see even more big issues that are going to be discovered throughout the day that are going to have to be repaired? Or do you think we've seen the worst of it?
I think based upon I saw the CEO give his couple interviews, and based upon everything that we're reading I think we've seen the brunt of it. And I think what we're doing is we're starting to see a little bit on the upswing of systems are starting to be recovered. So I think we've seen the worst of it. However, these effects could definitely take all day and into this weekend. And that's the time frame we're going to see. So as the everyday person, having businesses have their business continuity plan, but as people, just normal people living every day, is think about, when these things happen, what can you do as a person? So having some cash on hand in case your debit card doesn't work, and, making sure you have fuel for your vehicles. And so, because this is not the first time this isn't the first time, this isn't going to be the last time that something like this happens. We're lucky that does not appear to be something related to a cyber attack, but we're still feeling the effects of what it could have been if it was that.
Yeah, I'm getting a sense of it's going to be okay from you, and we
Sure.
like to hear that. But we also hear too, we're waking up to AT&T outages at times, and it seems like those cell phone company outages seem to be more prevalent. That's just what the perception is out there. I just am curious. So when you woke up and you saw this happen, what was your initial reaction?
Here we go again. Because AT&T had their recent outage, national outage, and it was so you have to go and understand, the scope of who is being affected, and then so once you understand that scope is okay. So what was the issue? How can we recover from this? And like in AT&T, when they went out, is you're just at the mercy of whatever is going to happen. So there's nothing that can be done. On the IT side, when it's a security company like CrowdStrike, on the IT side, there are some things that we can do to either start addressing it quickly or put in some plans to be able to get some systems working at some capacity, so that way your people and the everyday person can continue to try to live their lives as they would like to.
And last question, if you don't mind, does this shine a light on vulnerability that we have as a country, and when it comes to the technology side of things? I mean, are people looking at us and saying that there's some vulnerability, or is it just truly just something that's going to happen when we rely so much on technology?
We are vulnerable, as a person and as a nation. I mean, there's, back in the day, a lot of these incidents were kids in basements just screwing around and causing issues. I mean, these are state-sponsored organizations that are across the world that don't have, the FBI doesn't have purview and be able to do anything about this because they're generating a lot of money. So before it was just messing with people, it's a big money maker. And so people are going to follow the money, whether it's legit or not. And so it's only going to get harder and harder. So as people, businesses, as a country, we really need to focus on how do we prevent these things from happening? And if it does happen, when something like this does happen, what can we do to recover quickly?
All right, Michael Borlaug, CEO of Capstone IT. We really appreciate your time. Yes, trying to understand this complicated issue. Now, if you at home want more information, you can go to WPBF.com. We're working on everything local that's impacting you.
And we'll